and therefore she will make a fine addition to Georgetown University. Sincerely, Walter T. Bowne. Oh! Hello there, class. My name is Mr. Bowne. I'm just finishing up here a recommendation letter for one of my students. Mrs. Bowne, your culinary arts teacher, has asked me to talk to you for a little bit about writing. See, I'm writing here, and I'm writing on that computer over there, and I got all these things going on because I love to write. That's what I do. And I crank these recommendation letters out. So let me put that to bed. Wait a second. Let me get another story going on here. Okay, I got this thing called Revival I'm working on. My trusty iPad here. Anyway, Mrs. Bowne has informed me that you will be writing an essay for a contest. And let me just tell you one thing about contests. Oftentimes, like my students, I have them enter like a contest a week, and so far my track record, one of my students has always won some contest, whether it's a national contest like Rand McNally, the teacher, Philadelphia Phillies, kids go to Phillies games for free just for writing an essay. So you might think, this is ridiculous, I don't want to write an essay, but writing is so crucial, it's so powerful, and I do it all the time. I do it like 2 or 3 hours a day, besides teaching, writing, because I'm crazy, but that's my art, that's what I do, and I'm a published writer, so perhaps you should listen to me. I've heard that the blues alleviates the very pain it awakens. I was too young then to sing the blues, but I know the exact moment I connected with that pain. You see, I could sit here for hours debating the opening of one of my stories. This story here I've been writing, called Revival, it's had 7 different titles. I've reworked this story 9 different times. And I'm still, I think it's ready for publication now. And I'm sorry about wearing this hat. I know it looks stupid inside, but I have hat hair and I didn't shower this morning. So I went out for groceries with my wife. And I didn't feel like showering, so I just put on my little cap here, my Irish cap. So I know I look a little ridiculous, but that's the reason. But here I am. I'm going to help you with just a few tips on how to write this really, really effective essay. Use these tips not just in your foods class, which I know is a little crazy writing in a foods class, but the new standards do call for more writing. And in fact, the new GED, don't drop out of high school. Don't drop out. You need high school. But the new GED calls for more writing, a lot more writing, and the GED test is much harder. So listen to me, because if you're planning to go to college, you're going to do a lot of writing. And these tips, these are just a few tips. And of course, I'm an English teacher, I'm a writer, so, you know, I would kind of listen to me. So here are my tips. All right, to make an effective essay, you need to, number 1, capture ethos. Why should they listen to you? A salesman sells not just what they're selling, like a car, but they're selling themselves. You're not going to buy something from someone if you don't like the person. So in your essay, put your personality in there. Think about what it is that people like about you, and you need to capture ethos. Your ethics, your morals, who you are as a person. That's very, very important. Number 2, pathos. Let the reader feel your topic, hit the heart. Like if you're writing about cigarette smoking, you talk about your uncle that passed away from cigarette smoking from lung cancer, and you miss him at the Thanksgiving table. That's pathos. You feel it. You feel the pain. Logos. This is all from the ancient Greeks with rhetoric. Use lots of facts and statistics. If you say 8 out of 10 doctors have diagnosed lung cancer from people who smoke cigarettes, yeah, that's a fact, a statistic. Details, prove your point. So in your essay, lots and lots of details. Just don't tell, I ate this and I ate that. What did you eat? Why did you eat it? Think about those kind of details. And this will hopefully make you win the essay. And I think it's a lot of money. I don't know, I think it's a lot of money. I'm not sure. Number 4, have an effective hook. You're like fishing and you have a worm on there. You want to make that bait very, very attractive. If someone starts reading your essay and it's not effective and they're not interested, they're going to toss it away. They're going to go back on their phone and start texting or whatever they're going to do. So you want to make sure your opening is just really catchy. Number 5, have a point. What's the purpose of the essay? What do you want to prove? If you don't know, how is the reader going to know? So make sure that you know where you're going and you know your destination. Number 6, you got to know your audience. You're not writing for your girlfriend or your mother or your English teacher. You're writing for this guy, John Stossel, who's relatively conservative. He probably has an anti-government bias. So think about ways that you can address how government is trying to help you eat better, but are they really helping you? What are ways that you can decide how to better manage your diet? That kind of thing. Number 7, use a model for winning an essay. When I see other essays or other things that get published that mine has not got published, I think, okay, what can I do? What got published and what is being published by the best magazines that I can incorporate into my stories? I do that all the time. And you need to understand tone and voice. When Mrs. Bowne reads your essay, she should be able to say, wow, that sounds like Julian. This sounds like Julie. This sounds like Aisha. Not, this is just generic garbage and I don't know who it is. All right? It should sound like you. Make sure you edit and revise. Edit and revise. Revise means to re-see. You re-see your essay. You make sure the grammar, they're not going to accept an essay that's littered with grammar mistakes, capitalization mistakes, comma mistakes. This process actually takes longer than actually writing it. Writing it, you write it. Then you step back, come back to it, then you start shaping it up. Again, this is like playing football or wrestling or tennis or whatever you do. It just takes lots of practice. Number 9. When you first start writing, don't worry about the grammar and organization. Just get the dough on the table, and then you start shaping it. You can't start shaping it really until you have all the dough, or if you do pottery, all the clay on the wheel. I use these analogies. I hope they make sense to you. Number 10, sometimes you want to use a voice recorder. I know that sounds odd because you have a phone there, you have a computer. Oftentimes they have voice recording capabilities. Just hit record, just start talking about it. And then listen to it and write down, and I think sometimes some of the Word documents you can actually, I know my iPad, it has record. I can just talk and it's going to write what I say. That can oftentimes be a good way to get voice down. And then 11, don't merely rephrase your conclusion. I know English teachers tell you, say in conclusion, but that's oftentimes cookie cutter. You never want to do that on the SAT essay. And you don't want to do it in this type of essay. No writer ends with in conclusion. So this is the most important part of the essay. It's the grand finale. Make it sparkle. A call to action. What do you want us to do? What do you want us to feel? And just don't say, therefore, you can see, then that's boring, I don't want to read it. All right, it's the grand finale. All right, so 11 quick tips. Hopefully this helps. I'm not sure. And take care. Bye. Just to let you know, my wife, Mrs. Bowne, I don't call her Mrs. Bowne, I call her Mary Jane, but she has I wanted to have my students at Eastern High School, enter into this contest, but she gave me those eyes, and she says, no way are your kids competing in this. Let my kids compete in this essay contest. Let your kids win every other writing contest, like Rand McNally, like the Phillies, like South Jersey Magazine, like Writing for Malala, like all those other contests, the Walt Whitman Poetry Contest. But let my kids, her kids, have a shot at this. And I'm like, you know what? All right, I'll give her that. I'll give her this one thing. But everything else, yeah, you're competing with my kids. All right, take care. Back to writing.